My name is Anjireddy Nalamalapu. I am a special education teacher and a IEP case manager. Here in this video, I am presenting about the IEP process for my colleagues, induction year teachers, administrators, inclusion teachers, parents, and the students. The first slide, the process of special education. Individuals with the Disabilities Education Act (IDEA) mandate a particular sequence of events that school district must follow when identifying and placing students with disabilities in special education program. Before you place the student in IEP program, we have to go through a certain sequence or an order before you place the student, which is mandated by the federal law, Individual with the Disabilities Education Act. In this paper, I am presenting a complete details in an order how this process can be done in compliance with the federal law IDEA. So, how this process all start up is that student is going to the classrooms. Once you go into the classroom, the student might have difficulties in process given communication, or a problem in behavior, or consistently failing in class grades. If you notice that kind of problems, either this education that the classroom teacher, parent, or anyone who is well-wisher to the student may ask the concerned school administrators or the school district special education personnel to see that why my child has a problem. We have some concern about my child learning. Once they write a letter like that, then what happens is the intervention process will start with the parental concern. That means parents give a permission to the schools to implement the intervention process. What we do in intervention process? We do a systematic strategies to implement on the students in terms of processing the information, which includes the technology or teaching strategies or material or this kind of information. Give the student to boost the student in order to pull him up to reach his peer students' performance level, at the academic performance level. That's what we do in intervention time. And then, but here, these pre-referral interventions are not required by the IDEA that we do to have a systematic process to find out or place the student in a right manner. So here, once we did that, if after this pre-referral intervention process we did it, if the process is completed and we re-evaluate the student to see how he is performing or how he made progress in it, he might have start doing the good job and no more failures, his behavior is straight, no communication problems and stuff like that. Then you'll automatically, this process stops from right there. There is no special education. Now what I say that successful process, then it will be stopped. What happened? If not successful, child referred for evaluation. Then the next step of the intervention is place the student in an evaluation process or refer to evaluate the child. Then what you do? Multi-factor evaluation, MFE, will be conducted. What is that? Multidisciplinary team, testing material, not racially or culturally biased, trained personnel, and provided at no cost to the parent. Which means once the student is referred for evaluation, the evaluation must be done. The first thing is non-biased, which means maybe student with Hispanic background, maybe student within some other language. He is not able to comprehend the instruction in English. Therefore, you have to find somebody who can translate, work with the student to understand and make him understand in order to do better in the classroom. That is what the non-biased. which means we cannot simply determine that student is not able to process when you give instruction in English or the other language. You have to find out the language or the mother tongue of the child in order to see what he is doing or what he is not able to do. That's what the non-based. And the testing process whole will be completed by the school district. The cost will be paid by the school district. Parents are not responsible for that. And multidisciplinary team approach, which means the educator will be there, psychologist will be there. If a student exhibits some communication problem, speech therapist will be there, behavior problem, behavioral therapist will be there, and all the team of the people is called a multidisciplinary team will participate to do this multi-factor evaluation. Once we do the multi-factor evaluation, then we go to the next one is parental intervention for MET meeting. Okay, now once we did all the testing done, now we call the parent, invite the parent to have a MET meeting, which means we talk about that, go by the data or evaluation report to see whether the child is qualified for special education or not. That's what this is the MET meeting. When we do this MET meeting, parental invitation for MET meeting, we have to send this notification or invitation to the parent 7 working days before we call for the meeting or the meeting date. That's what we're talking about here. Now, MET meeting, parents and team of professionals will be in there. Who are the team of the professionals? Whoever is going to serve the student, especially the administrators who accommodate for them, and the teachers who conducted the evaluation, psychologists who conducted the evaluation, and other team, the team of the professional who is required to be in there will be in that meeting. That's what we're talking about here. Who are the people in the MET meeting? Once we did the MET meeting, we go over the data, what we collected from the group of people. Once we see the data, if student has a problem in his performance or in his behavior, any kind of manner, then we will see that the disability is present so that they will qualify for special education services. That's one side. What is about after you evaluating the evaluation report, you find out the student does not have any kind of disability and he is performing as he's supposed to be or as per his developmental milestone. At that point, we will stop the process. Then the MET meeting will be the last stage in the process of IEP. If the child is qualified for special education chair and the data gave an evidence the student is fall behind in academically or behavior is otherwise different or communication problems or any motor problem, then at that point individual education program IEP should be developed. When we develop after the MET meeting, then within 30 days of the eligibility determination or after MET meeting, and then the child is get eligibility, then within 30 days we have to have a IEP. The next video I will talk about the IEP detail and component. Okay, in this video I'm just talking about how many days after IEP should be developed followed by the MET meeting. Whereas what is the IEP, what are the IEP components, how to do it, I'll go ahead and develop another different video to talk about the whole concept on that. Now the next one, placement determination by the IEP team. Placement in least restrictive environment, which also called LRE. It is one of the fundamental principles as required by the federal law IDEA. The IDEA proposes the best possible least restrictive environment. General education classroom is the starting point to place the child in a special education. Parental consent is required. Here, the least restrictive environment is all about the place the child in a regular education classroom along with his peers so that he will have an opportunity to work with other students. If you need an extra services, the district may consider to give an inclusion teacher who is specially trained to help out the child in order to be succeed in academic. That's what it's talking about, the least restrictive environment. That is what we want to place after develop the IEP. The next one, free appropriate public education, FAPE, is an educational right of all children in the United States that is guaranteed by the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act idea. We just talked about this one. Now, implement special education, free appropriate public education. First one, the IEP is implemented in the least restrictive environment. That's the first principle. The next principle is the child participates in the general education curriculum and extracurricular activities of the school. The next one, the child participates in the state and the district-wide assessment. The IEP specifies accommodations or modification or alternative assessment if necessary. Here is that child should be in least restrictive environment. They will go to the general education classroom to access the general curriculum. And the next one is they take the district and the state examination as mentioned in the IEP with accommodations and modification if necessary. Now, the parents can request a change of program and a placement. If any reason parents believe the student will benefit to change of placement, then they can ask, they can request to the district to consider the change of placement. Now the next one, the IEP must be formally reviewed at least annually. Once a year, we have to have an IEP meeting to review, revise whether the child is qualified for the special education. If he is not qualified, and will develop the new goals and short-term objective for next academic year, so that we will have a IEP or program or plan for next academic year. This kind of IEP serves as a special curriculum which is only developed by the special education teachers who are specially trained. And this curriculum is going to be completely suited for the particular child to meet the individual needs, because the federal law idea says that the IEP must provide the services to meet the individual needs of the child. For example, student is going to the 10th grade. Even in the 10th grade, because of his disability, he may not be able to perform some tasks. In that case, we have to develop a special curriculum to accommodate, to modify the standard curriculum to help out the child to have a successful experience in the classroom. Now, that's what we're talking about here. Now, the review and evaluation. Provide the progress to the parents that we had every quarter one time, every 3 months one time. We want to send a progress about the student on the annual goal as well as the short-term objective, what we are scheduled for the students on their IEPs. Next one. The IEP team evaluate the IEP whereby when benchmark of the short-term objectives, modifications of instructional program, placement, reevaluation, supplementary services, and transition services. These are some of the key points, benchmarks that we got to keep in mind when we develop the IEP. The next one, reevaluation review every 3 years once. Now I will go back to the previous slide one more time, which saying that the IEP must be normally reviewed at least annually. When we do that, when we have developed the IEP this time for the year, next year before this date we have to have a new IEP on the child. That's what the annual IEP development goes by. The next one we're talking about is the reevaluation review every 3 years once. Now here, every 3 years once, we will go back and have an evaluation on the student to see all the services what he is receiving on IEP. For example, IEP is receiving a speech communication services, physical therapy services, behavioral therapy services, academic services, or any kind of services that he is receiving should be reviewed and revised every 3 years once, because of the services that we are providing through the special education program. Student may grown out of the disability, then he may be disqualified to receive special education services, or along with his growth he might have some other problems coming too. Then we got to address those issues. Therefore, we are required to conduct a re-evaluation review every 3 years once. Okay, now, once you conducted the re-evaluation review, we find our student is fine, no problem, he's passing grades and everything else, then that point he does not require IEP, then he will be dismissed from the services, his program will be stopped. Now, the SPED services will continue. If student has still problems, he still requires the special attention, at that point he will again receive a new IEP, and then he will qualify to continue to receive the special education services. Now here, that's what it's saying, that now, if the IEP team determine the child disability is present, or that the disability of the child affect the child's education adversely, then we will continue the services. If it is no longer present, or that the child's education is not adversely affected by the disability, then he will be dismissed. That's what this slide is talking about. Now here I put how it is look like. If the most disability is there, then they will be homebound or hospitalized services they will receive. And they are not really severity, they come to the regular classroom, which is on the bottom talking about. They go to the least restrictive environment and receive services. That's what and then if you have a regular classroom with consultation services, sometimes they have a regular education classroom, but if they have a little more difficulty, then with this part of the day they stay with special education services full-time classroom, and couple of periods they go join with the regular education kids to receive the services. So the service is going to be changed, how we provide it depends on the child disability. If he is really disabled, which means severely disabled children, they may not be able to come to school. At that point, we will consider to provide services homebound or a medical leave problem. Then we will put them in the hospital, provide the hospitalized services for the children with special needs. And we are also talking about the separate classroom, separate schools. Some countries, they do have a whole complete school is dedicated, working only for the student with special needs, that they will receive the complete services with highly trained professionals to meet the individual needs of the children with the disabilities. That is the separate school system. Separate classroom means they have a self-contained classroom. The full day they stay with the specially trained teacher, which we also call the special education teacher, to receive the services for them. So here I'll talk a little bit about how this educational placement will go for them. Now we talked about the before idea requires the children is a least restrictive environment. Whereas if the least restrictive environment is not beneficial for the child with the disability, then the IEP team will consider to the placement, change of placement, to place anyone of this area which is best suit for the children for the benefit of the child with the disability. I'm thankful for all the professionals who we work collaborate to do this work, which is Dr. Ibrahim Farah and Clement Chaju, James Payne, and Don Eubank, which is the Mississippi State's lawmaker, and John Thomas Terry Lamar III is also a Mississippi State lawmaker. The other one is Abby M. Hanson, who is also a Mississippi lawmaker. We talk about the different kind of special education and how the state will doing, what are the laws will be better benefit for the children and all that. So I'm thankful for them to giving me support and opportunity to share an ideas and talk about together. When I'm doing this presentation, I read a couple of books and contacted some of the people. I have to give a credit to Dr. Heward William, who is my favorite author. I always love to read his book. His book is a lot of information about this IEP presentation. I have to give credit to Dr. Heward William and the Cindy Taylor, who was the former Sunflower County Consolidated School District Special Education Director. Now she's working for the Mississippi Department of Education. She's always stay up on the profession. She encouraged the professionals who want to professionally grow. She share ideas. She give an opportunity to professionally grow. So I have to say thank you for her for pushing me to be successful in the profession.